This is a fun one. Basically, the media, 2 years later, has decided, okay, now it's time to acknowledge the Hunter Biden laptop is real. I suspect, and I think you do too, it's because the federal grand jury is hearing these cases very seriously, and he might actually be criminally indicted.
Yeah, they can't deny it anymore.
So they can't deny it anymore,
because
so they got to get out ahead of it a
the
little
Biden Justice Department has now validated the laptop, right. So they can't play dumb anymore.
They can't play dumb anymore. So now everybody's like, oh, actually, you know that laptop that we all said was fake? Oh, yeah, that's actually totally real. So let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. This is from the Washington Post. So there's a lot going on here. The Washington Post says, inside Hunter Biden's multi-million-dollar deals with a Chinese energy company. The subhead, a Washington Post review confirms key details and offers new documentation of Biden family interactions with Chinese executive. And what they point to specifically is, on August 2nd, 2017, signatures were quickly affixed from Hunter Biden and Chinese executive Gong Wendong. And within days, a new Cathay Bank account was created. Within a week, millions of dollars started to change hands. However, within a year, it would all begin to collapse. What they point to is a previously known, and we will get to that, deal between Hunter Biden and the CEFC China Energy Corporations, which has direct ties to the Chinese Communist Party. That Chinese energy conglomerate paid $4.8 million to entities that were controlled by Hunter Biden and his uncle, James Biden, the brother of the president. Court documents and newly disclosed bank statements, as well as emails contained on a copy of a laptop hard drive that once belonged to Hunter Biden. And what they specifically point to is that Hunter Biden's laptop was confirmed by the Washington Post. Very interesting. It was confirmed the day he didn't deny that it was his. Okay, all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation.
Oh my God.
All the hallmarks. This is the same outlet which ran these types of stories. And what they point to is that the CFC deal became one of the most lucrative, if short-lived, foreign ventures that Hunter is known to have pursued. The Post review draws in part on an analysis of the hard drive of the laptop computer. And I think that what is so important here is that is this the most important thing in the world? No. Okay? In terms of the evidence within the story, have they directly connected Joe Biden to that? No. Although you can go read that email from Tony Bobulinski around the big guy and specifically connected to a China deal. But here's the basic fact pattern. The president's son and the president's brother received millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party and used those dollars in a slush fund. Oh, and also didn't pay any tax, allegedly, did not pay any of their taxes on any of this. That's pretty sketchy. Now, do you think that they did it out of the goodness of their heart, that the Chinese Communist Party is wiring the former vice president's son and now current president's son all of this money? My personal favorite, Krystal, was whenever they did not pay his bills, Hunter actually threatened to sue them in Delaware court.
Right.
And specifically said, just so you know, I know all of the judges in Delaware.
Yeah. Because they questioned, that little detail is funny too, because they questioned one of the expenses that he was trying to get reimbursed. Last show we brought you how, he was getting money that was for a car, for like $150,000 sports car.
Fisker car.
Yeah, which I don't even really know what it is. That's how fancy it is. But so he was clearly using this to fund an insanely lavish lifestyle, allegedly, according to, some of the investigations with the grand jury, maybe not paying his taxes on some of those things, certainly getting behind on his taxes. And I think in terms of political relevance, it's very obvious here, guys. You don't need a direct connect to Joe Biden. It's plain to see that James Biden and Hunter Biden were not getting these gigs and having these millions of dollars thrown at them because of their competence or expertise. Right. It's all because of their last name. And that is blatant corruption. Did Joe Biden directly have anything to do with that? We don't know. But as we talk about with corruption all the time, just the appearance of this type of corruption is so incredibly damaging, especially when, look, he's the president of the United States. Obviously, our relationship with China is extraordinarily significant. Obviously, our, relationship with Ukraine now, extraordinarily significant. So these are no small things. As you said, is it the biggest story in the world? No, but it actually is really pretty damn significant. And here's the other part of it that we have to point out, which is that Yeah, the Washington Post has a few new details here, putting some meat on the bones of this story. Is this a new story? No. No, it's not. I mean, we knew the general outlines of what was going on here for a long time, and they just couldn't be bothered to actually dig in and do real reporting on what was going on until now, when their hand is forced by the fact that he may be facing criminal liability and actually, facing potential indictment over these things so they can no longer sit on their hands. There was a window in the past. Remember, we dug up some of the old stories from Politico and whatever that talked about Biden family corruption.
2019.
So there was a time when it was on the table.
Yeah.
And then you had this whole long stretch where suddenly, because it was clear he was likely to be a Democratic nominee, oh, now you can't say anything. You had even his primary rivals, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and others, totally pulling their punches on insinuating any sort of corruption.
Yes.
Well, remember when Bernie chastised and disciplined members of his campaign team and his surrogates like Zephyr Teachout, who wanted to go in the direction of talking about Biden corruption.
Joke.
The media obviously, was all ready to go and sort of smear you as unfair and right wing and you love Trump if you brought any of this stuff up. Then they go and completely hide it in the general election, and it's disgraceful. So listen, none of this is particularly new, but it is significant to know that there were these big deals with significant players around the world who clearly, whatever they actually got, they clearly thought they were getting access and influence. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.